Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Thank you for joining in one of an interesting TLI series workshop conducted by District 105. I know the month of May has always been remembered for our district conferences, and we had a wonderful conference last month, and now it is back to our club meetings where we encourage our members to achieve their goals as we come near to the end of the Toastmaster year. But I would want every one of you here to think back that one club meeting that made you to stay. Or think about that club meeting which you walked in for the first time before you became a Toastmaster. It was not a perfectly executed agenda on that meeting captivated us. It was not that award-winning speech captivated us, nor it was the flawless timing as per the agenda that captivated us. For most of us, or at least for me, it is something much simpler but much more powerful. It was that welcoming smile, an encouraging word, and a mentor who took interest in us, or a moment when we felt that we truly belong here. That feeling of belonging is the art of every successful Toastmasters club. Many clubs focus on attracting new members, improving meeting quality, or achieving recognitions. While these goals are still important, the lasting success comes from something very deeper and very closer to my art, that is creating an environment where every member feels valued, supported, and inspired to grow. When members feel seen, they engage. When they feel supported, they develop. When they feel appreciated, they stay. That is the beauty of our organization, where members are the core for the success of our organization. Every meeting presents an opportunity to strengthen that connection with the member. A club culture is not built through one exceptional event. It is built meeting by meeting, member by member. Today's TLI workshop, every member, every meeting, will explore how we can intentionally create experiences that help members thrive. We will learn some practical strategies to increase engagement, strengthen the retention, and build stronger club cultures and ensure that every person who walks through our doors leaves that they matter. To guide us through this important topic, we are privileged to have a leader whose Toastmasters journey reflects a deep commitment to service, leadership, and member success. Distinguished Toastmaster Harold Osmundson has been an enthusiastic Toastmaster since 2011, dedicating the past 15 years to supporting members and strengthening the clubs at every level of the organization. In the year 2017-2018, Harold served as the district director for District 6, leading one of the biggest Toastmasters district, that is 299 clubs in the world through a major reformation effort. The experiences provided valuable leadership lessons and demonstrated his ability to guide organization through a significant change. From 2020 to 2022, Harold served on the Toastmasters International Board of Directors as an international director. During one of the most challenging periods in our organization history, the COVID-19 pandemic, he helped provide leadership and direction to Toastmasters members around the world. In recognition of his outstanding service and contribution, Harold received the Presidential Citation in the year 2025, one of the highest honors bestowed by Toastmasters International. Professionally, Harold is a software engineer and a business owner, operating a software consulting company in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He studied information system and computer science at the University of Minnesota and remains a lifelong learner and a student of leadership. Today, Harold brings not only extensive leadership experience, but also a passion for helping clubs create meaningful experiences that transform members' life. I met Arol in one of our Zoom meetings, and I was so inspired by his writings, and I imbibed all those things in my district Trigo journey. Please join me in giving a warm and enthusiastic welcome to the distinguished Toastmaster, the past international director, Harold Osmundson, as he presents every member, every meeting. Harold, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, PQD Ram. That was quite an introduction. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate the kindness for everyone and your attendance here tonight. It's an honor to be with you. And I hope through this session you gain something of value. It might be a reminder, it might be a new idea, and it might be ideas that you contribute yourselves or another member here contributes that can help us in our journey, help our clubs, our districts, if you will, and most importantly, help our members. I'm going to share a screen and a presentation. Throughout it, and throughout this presentation, I invite you to participate in the chat or to unmute. We may have to use hand raising just to make sure that we keep it orderly, but certainly this has to be a session where we participate a little bit. You may have had a long day. We want to make sure that this is an enjoyable experience for you. Before I get into the session material itself, I need to pass along my sincerest thanks, recognition, and care and concern. One, thank you for being a member of Toastmasters. Most likely you're a leader of a club, perhaps a leader of district. I appreciate the District 105 leadership for being here and the opportunity to share. But being a member and a leader in Toastmasters is not easy. And wherever you find yourself in your journey, I tell you what, I appreciate it. And you are appreciated. We want to see you be successful in whatever capacity you are contributing and serving in Toastmasters. And thanks again for being here. There's a lot going on in our world. I hope that you, your family, your friends, loved ones are safe. The title for tonight's session, Every Member, Every Meeting, actually missed a word in that title. And I'm wondering if you could fill it in, and then maybe we can just do this during the chat. But if I were to say every member, every meeting, blank, what do you think's in the blank? Should we take a guess? Matters. Rom got it. Okay. You get the points right there. Every member matters, every meeting matters. And that is the goal. And that's the message I want to share, that we can have all sorts of things in Toastmasters, but really if we just focus on making sure that we care for every member and that we put focus and energy into every meeting for our benefit, for our members' benefits and guest benefits, we're going to see success and we're going to see what we wanted to see in terms of benefits, growth, enjoyment out of our experience. And so this is about long term, but I don't think it's just long term. I think through this, we can gain short term to long term excellence, quality, engagement as well. And so that was the key word that was missing off the title. Members matter, meetings matter. We get the members that we invest in, that we help develop. Right? We get a quality club by investing in our club. That's another message I would take away, is that I know that we can get very busy with things, and I feel it all the time. We've got a lot of things to do. We've got tasks with our roles in and outside of Toastmasters. But if we take time to invest in the people in our club, the members in our club, the new members, and if we take time to invest in the meetings and the overall club itself, the result is we get a great experience and get something that we enjoy being a part of and people that we love surrounding ourselves with. I'll start with a very brief story. I saw this, and we see it probably all the time. You probably see it in your club on a regular basis. But it was probably about 10 years ago. I was in a club. We were rebuilding it a bit. And there was a member named Kate who was quite shy, who didn't participate a lot. She would show up. She would not take on major roles. She didn't feel comfortable with it. She wouldn't take on speaking roles. She didn't feel comfortable with that either. And so here we had a member that was continually participating, but hadn't really even given an icebreaker quite yet. And it wasn't clear when that was going to turn or when that was going to happen. Well, some of the members and I, and the senior members and I, we said, well, what do we have to do to create an environment and help Kate so that she can take steps? And we helped her with roles and encouraged her with mentoring and with overall just education training to start taking on some of these roles. And then finally convinced her to give that icebreaker. But we had to largely script it out and make it very simple for her and just give her a nice template. And in looking back, I think that was a great thing that we provided to Kate, as well as other members who just felt like creating a speech from scratch was a little bit too much of a leap for that first speech. And that's okay. Kate read the script word for word. She sat down and she received a standing ovation. And I think from that moment on, something happened. She started to take on more roles. She started to be the Toastmaster of the meeting, spoke more often, gave evaluations. Soon enough, she becomes the president of the club. She does a fine job as president. She starts to grow in the club and starts to succeed and grow outside the club. She does well at work, gets promotions. And I don't know where the spark was, but I know that the investment that the club made in Kate made a difference for her. And I would bet that you see that regularly. It's not a unique story, but it's a story that to me reminds me often that what we do matters, our members matter, and having good meetings that are experiences, those matter as well. And they're worth our time and attention. So if we look at this, there'll be three parts that I'll go through. I'll do my best to keep it moving well. There'll be opportunities for participation via chat and voice throughout. And the first, talk about investing in and in serving our members best we can. Then making our meetings to be these magical experiences that we enjoy that keep us coming back. And my guess is you probably already experienced that. So some of this will be old hat, if you will, for many. And then finally, since we are in June, how do we apply this right now in June? How can we finish strong for this program year and start the next program year even stronger? What we do now carries over into July and beyond. I want to make one thing a little bit clear is that I don't think anything I'll share tonight will necessarily be a secret. I think it will be things and principles that you may have heard. You may have seen them in the moments of truth or elsewhere. Your club may be practicing them or exemplifying them. And if so, good, keep that. I want to focus on principles and the consistency with applying the principles that I know are going to lead to long-term success. So I wish I had a secret that would make all problems go away, but I don't. What I can offer, though, is the principles and the idea that the things that we do over and over, meeting by meeting, they really do matter. So we'll begin with members. How do we serve our members best? And first, maybe let's just start by sharing and thinking about what are some things that the member sees or the guest sees from their perspective. If these were the thoughts, well, a guest or even a member may say, do I belong here? Is this somewhere that I feel welcomed, that I have a place? And I have to admit, I think some maybe feel like this is not for them, or they're not feeling welcomed enough or not comfortable enough to take a risk. It happens, but we'll try and do our best to remove that thought so they feel welcomed and confident. Does anyone know my goal or why I show up here, what I'm trying to accomplish in Toastmasters, outside of Toastmasters in life or professionally? When that starts to not be clear to anyone, that can be a little bit of a problem. And it does happen in the real world. Or they feel like after time, some of the novelty wears off and they say, am I just filling a role meeting after meeting? Again, it happens, and we'll do our best to help break the member out of that feeling, or to say it's way more than filling a role every meeting. What am I gaining for this time? If they show up for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours on a weekly basis, What's the return that they get back? And can they realize that? Can they see that? Because if they can, they know the investment is worth it. And if they don't, that's a little bit of a problem and a concern that we want to work through, but we can work through it. And then again, I hope nobody feels this way. Would anyone notice if I stopped coming? When I stop attending meetings, does anyone care? Does anyone follow up with me? And if they don't, the member often says, well, I will miss the next meeting as well, and then the next one. These, I think, are legitimate thoughts and concerns that goes through a member and sometimes a guest's mind. And that brings up the idea of, well, what do members value and need? And I think we've probably seen some of these things before. We keep coming back to them because they are the basics and the fundamentals of what we're about and how we deliver value. Mentorship, where the member says, someone is invested in me and my growth. Someone cares enough to contact me, to show me how to be an effective member, to get the most of this program, gives me honest feedback, and regularly commits time to me. They feel like they have relationships that span more than Toastmasters, the social aspect and the community aspect, where the member says, these are my friends. This is my community. This is somewhere I do belong. And us fostering that in a genuine, authentic way absolutely matters. Recognition for the small things, stepping into a role, giving a great evaluation or report. Or is it accomplishing a level or a path or a completion, an educational, if you will? I mean, that stuff, the big and the small, they all matter. And getting a little bit of recognition is magical in Toastmasters. Because to be honest, I don't think we see it enough elsewhere in the world or in our day-to-day lives. And then finally, something that often brings people to Toastmasters, growth, where the member says, I have skills and confidence that I didn't have before I joined this club and joined Toastmasters. Those were the top four that came to mind when I said, what do we have to serve? What needs do we have to fulfill for members to get value? But this is your time now. Did I miss anything? Are there other things that members value and need when it comes to their experience and journey in Toastmasters? And you're welcome to include your opinion or your experience as well if there's something that you think that you value that hasn't been covered yet. Amber, go ahead.
Thank you. I totally agree with everything you are saying. One thing we've been doing in my Italian club is we've been really trying to support members and recognizing, understanding how pathways is useful to them in any and all skill that they are doing in the real world, and helping them really plan their path, plan their speeches based on that. We a lot of coaching goes in right at the beginning
Okay.
for every single role, similar to what you did for Kate. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Amber. And just, is it working? I mean, are you seeing the results of that investment?
We've got we got super excited members. 5 brand new people took on leadership roles. 10 people
Wow.
finished their level 1. It's a landslide. Of
Yeah,
yes.
that's it. I mean, that's to me, that's as good as anything I can put on a slide, that the investment pays off, the investing in the people and helping them along. We get the members that we invest in. So thank you very much. Let's see. I kind of asked this already. What do you value? But it's worth asking yourself, what do you value, and is that being met? Is there a gap here about in your experience? Because it does happen where a gap will show up. Go ahead. Oh, okay. If there is a gap, work with those around you in your club or in your district to help get it addressed. Everybody wants you to be engaged, successful, and feeling like this is the best use of your time. I probably have already said this now, so these are just going to be some ways or some tactics, and a lot of them are not new. Amber covered them, but how do we serve? Mentoring through one form or the other, whether it's formal or informal. Maybe we just have a culture where everybody looks out for each other. That works. Again, you can implement it however you feel is best that works. But providing a mentor or some schedule, just at a minimum, unless you find something better, it matters, especially in the beginning, to make sure that that new member feels comfortable. And sometimes we may not have a new member, but a newer member or somebody who you think can still use a little bit of help. Kate, in my example, was not a new member. She just is one who hadn't had really probably received enough mentoring so that she could start advancing in her journey. But have somebody that's looking out for members. Reach out. If somebody misses a couple meetings or misses one meeting unexpectedly, genuinely, and I mean this genuinely, authentically, just to check in to say, "Hey, I noticed you weren't at the meeting. We just want to make sure things were okay." Not too many people check in on us in life, so when we have somebody that actually cares, like it's a big deal. It makes a difference, but we got to do it authentically. Next, understanding the member's goal. This can only come through conversation. We have to understand, why did they come here? What do they want to accomplish? What keeps them striving and keeps them coming here? Honestly, I think at times it's very easy for us to forget this. And I will say I'm as guilty as anyone. But if we don't know in our club the member's goal, each member's goal, then I think we have an opportunity to learn and then also to work to serve that goal through the program, through the meetings. But there's an opportunity to gain more awareness of what we need to do in terms of serving our members. And here's one other thing: growth and challenge. This shows up a little bit in the presentation in the session. We want our members to grow. And I think one way we do that is you have to do it the right way, but we have to challenge them to grow. We have to push them just a little bit outside their comfort zone, not much. And we have to provide that environment so they feel comfortable getting outside their comfort zone. A club that isn't challenging the member, I think at times is not advancing or not growing the member enough, but it has to be done the right way. And I have to be honest, I'm pretty interested to see, how does your club challenge its members? How do you create a environment and a culture that challenges, but also is supportive and safe, so that there's that balance where everybody feels comfortable? Final item is recognition. I already said it. I said it enough. When we get recognized, that's where the addiction a little bit, the real pull, the real fun in Toastmasters is of, it's fun to be recognized for doing good things. So if there's a win, big or small, celebrate it for every member anytime you can. Catch them doing something great. Now I'm going to just, before we kind of wrapped up this section on how do we invest more in our members, again, I've shared the fundamentals. Amber has shared great experiences. Do you have additional ideas on how to better mentor, better create relationships, better understand the goals of a member, to recognize them, and to challenge them so that they can grow, or just help them grow? Anything that maybe hasn't been addressed that your club or that you've seen someone do that is worth adopting? Because everybody here on this call, on this meeting, will benefit if you have a good practice to share. Oh, go ahead, Ram. Thank you.
Yeah, there's one practice that what we do in our club is, sometimes we do this open conversation with members one-to-one, maybe 2 months once, to check from a club leadership perspective whether you feel that you're belonging here, or something is right or something is wrong. So that is something which we have been doing in the past, which has been a good practice. And from a district per se, the recognitions to our members has been a great boost. It's not just only the path completion, sometimes the level completions are also being recognized and celebrated at a bigger stage. members feel that they belong here.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Those two items. Check-ins, and it doesn't have to be much, but just want to see how you're doing. And if it can be done naturally, if you have to go out of your way, fine. But something to just create a little bit of space for that individual to say things are going good or things are not going good. That's where honesty really does matter. But just the act of saying, "Hey, I care enough to reach out," matters. It says something. And the recognition might be one of the biggest takeaways of this session, if nothing else, that recognition is vital, it's essential, and it's something that's special in Toastmasters. Anyone else have an idea or a practice that they implement that does well? Yearly picnic. Thanks very much, Cyprian. Social events, fellowship events are pretty amazing. If you can do them annually, you have something that people look forward to. Just had a local club, they go out and play golf, or they do something in the Christmas or the holidays, they'll have a holiday party, so around the US holidays. And that's just something that kind of happens. They do that twice a year, and it matters because we're doing more than just speeches. I mean, we're enjoying life and experiencing life together. So one item that I will put in for recognition, just so that I can maybe omit it elsewhere. Anytime a member accomplishes something, and this definitely when they complete a level or a path, anything that is, I would say, I don't want to say significant. Also, the icebreaker. If you meet in person, the standing ovation from a club is a life-changing experience. There's something about it that just gets the emotions high in everybody in the room, where that member sees that the club is standing up and congratulating and celebrating their accomplishment and their victory. Not a lot of dry eyes when we do a standing ovation. So you save it for special events, but don't be too stingy with it either. An icebreaker, or when they finish an award or finish a term, probably as president or another, any other accomplishment you think, use your own judgment, but it does matter. So that kind of gets to the next item where we say, well, okay, now we know a little bit how to invest in our members. That's, again, go back to the fundamentals. Now let's just say every meeting that we have, it matters. It's more than just an agenda that we stick to. The structure of Toastmasters is amazing. It allows us to be creative within the structure, but we don't want it to become just an agenda that we work through. So I'll open this up to anyone who can share. Do you have something that makes, in your opinion, your club's meetings special? Something that says, I don't want to miss this meeting. I have so much fun because. Is there anything special that you think the club does, or anything that the club does that makes it an experience? Snacks, yeah, you can't argue with food. Thank you. Laughter yoga. I love it. Anytime we can get some laughter, it's a great thing. Amber, go ahead.
My Italian club is an online club, and being in Italy, we tend to do it kind of late. We start around 7:15 in the evening, and those first 15 minutes are dedicated to meet and greet time, where we just sit there, we chill, we chit chat, we present each other, like new members, new guests get to present themselves and really feel at home. It's kind of like the lounge. And then afterwards, we dive into the meeting. By 9:15, everybody's ready to go eat, and so we don't have much time to do that afterwards. But I find that really helps, like, build that bonding moment.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Amber. I think that does it for me as well. It's the beginning of the meeting, and it's the connection where we make time for it to understand what's going on in people's lives. And it's just, again, it's probably more social than anything else, but it really does reinforce the idea of a group, a club, a community, and fellowship. Next, is it Naji?
Hello,
Go ahead.
everyone.
Oh,
Hello. So for me, I was the president of a club in Lebanon, and we started with 80 members and finished with 42 members. So one of the things that we have done is, of course, outing. And after each meeting, we go and eat together, and we have a break,
Yeah.
10-minute breaks. During the meeting, we take 10-minute breaks, and this creates an excellent bonding between people.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing. Dinner, meals, time together. It could be coffee, tea, or just anything where people are spending time with each other. It creates tighter bonds. And it really, when we look at it, it's great for our overall health of being connected to a group and to community that we, have shared values and common values with and goals. Thanks for that. And next, is it Rama?
Hello everyone, I'm Rama from District 126, India.
Great.
We conduct meeting every Sunday. The most important thing in our meeting, we conduct one listening activity at the end of the meeting.
Oh,
We
wow.
note down some important points in the meeting. Then we conduct a quiz program. We ask the question. We encourage the audience to answer the question. That is the activity I always want to participate. Then after the meeting, we take feedback from the guests and we chit chat for 5 minutes. Yes, after the feedback, we use this feedback in the upcoming meetings. That's we have been doing. Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much. This idea of, listening's outstanding. Yeah. I think we're getting and we're converging on some similar ideas. And again, it's about the connection. It's about strengthening fellowship. Let's go with one more. Is it Lisa?
Yeah, so I am the president of a relatively new club called CreArt. It's a club for creatives and artists, and we are virtual, and we do a couple of interesting things. We do open the room a half an hour before the 1 hour virtual meeting, and we'll stay afterwards if anyone wants to follow up and discuss anything. We have 2 speeches each session. Each session has a theme related to art and or creativity. And the end of the month, we've now been implementing a wonderful showcase. And you can either do a table topics length, excuse me, a table topics length speech about your object that you're sharing with us that you've made artistically, and or you can choose to give a speech. Last time we had 10 of them, and a few of them were 5 to 7 minute speeches, and the rest were table topics. But to have 10 people share at a meeting for us, it was really joyful. And there's so much being created all month long that it's wonderful to get everyone to share what it is that they're working on artistically, and it's been great. We're 3 members away from Smedley.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And great job. Thank you for sharing. I think that is time well spent where people can share, within that allotted time about what they're working on. I'm going to take a guess everybody really values that. So might be another one of these ideas of it's time well spent. We want to create that structure, but using the time to connect, to share, to understand what people are going through, it's valuable. It's as valuable as a speech. And so a big takeaway for this is there's no meeting that's unimportant. Meetings are an opportunity for us to connect with each other, to grow, to challenge each other in the right way, and to make magical experiences. And I would say this is where the creativity comes in, and nobody has the perfect answer or the perfect way to do this. We adapt to the culture of our club and the environment and the people we have in it, but we want to curate great experiences where we say for ourselves and hopefully others, that was a great experience. I can't wait for the next meeting, and there's no way I'll miss that meeting. And if we do it right, then we're doing something that I think is just transcending everything. So that's a big idea, is invest in the meeting We've talked about some of these items already, and I'm going to go through them. If you have already covered the moments of truth in your journey, whether as a club officer, a district leader, moments of truth is reflected in these ideas. I'm not necessarily inventing them. I might be adding here and there or taking a different frame or angle on them. But the ingredients to me that I think are important that we have to invest in as building community and building fellowship so that we understand that this is more than just giving speeches. We're experiencing life and enjoying life with our fellow members. And we find that this is great on so many levels. That we have enough variety in every meeting so that it's consistent in terms of its structure, but it's not a rerun. And we don't feel like it gets monotonous. And we can use themes, different formats, but it is creativity within a certain structure and a certain level of etiquette. That we enjoy it, where it's the best hour or hour and a half or 2 hours of our week or a couple of weeks or however often we meet, that it's a challenge that we say, we might get stretched here a little bit. We may have a table topic that challenges us at times, but that's okay because that's what helps us grow. We just have to do it the right way and create a nice environment where nobody feels like they were, humiliated, embarrassed, put on the spot, but instead that they were challenged in a healthy way. And there it is again, recognition. We got the opportunity to celebrate each other and also be recognized for the good things that we do. Talked about this already. I'm not going to go over it in any more detail. But if there is a couple recurring themes, comfort zones need to be stretched just a little bit every meeting or at the members' pace with something they're comfortable with, but they're still being challenged to grow. And that's something in my journey where I go to a club and I was like, they're pushing it just a little bit, and that's making a difference when I see the members' development and their achievements. And it's in Toastmasters through speech contests and just their growth as communicators and leaders. And also you can tell that they're succeeding outside, and that is a great thing. But it comes by us finding balanced ways to challenge and help our members grow. And recognition is essential. Gone over it multiple times. Major sub-theme of the session here. Don't let anything go unrecognized because we don't get it elsewhere. Not enough. So good appreciation and recognition when somebody steps up into a role, when they do it well, when they complete their term and education level, or they've done something that should be recognized. No need to be stingy with recognition and appreciation. When you look at curating a meeting, I think we've touched this already. I'm going to go through these and just be a little bit careful with time. Many have already mentioned in the first 5, 10, 20 minutes of a meeting, whatever the club can allocate, build some connection, build some energy, have some fun, some laughter that'll set the stage for the meeting. If you have time to go out either before or after the meeting, that's a great thing, or to schedule those social events. We haven't talked so much about guests, but they get great treatment as well, where we make them feel welcome, as well as welcomed for every member, and that we care about what they have to say and we care about their experience. Use what you can for variety, and then the challenge might have one more, recognition. We go back to variety real quick. What's one thing that maybe your club does to keep things fresh, to make sure that there is some variety within the structure? Uh-oh, I've been talking too long. Debates. Thank you, Ron. Yeah, having a debate would be kind of a fun thing. It definitely stretches us in terms of our ability to form an argument and to think on our feet. It's table topics and then some, because now you have to think about what the other individual is saying and then respond and provide a rebuttal. Debate would be a great thing. It's kind of something that maybe as a practice at times has fallen away, but it has been involved in Toastmasters over its history. I think table topics is a great opportunity. Every time you're table topics master, set a great example for others. by you doing something that's creative, but still approachable, and it doesn't really intimidate others, but says like, hey, this is a spin on table topics. And anytime I think we start asking the same form of questions, meeting after meeting, that's where we start running into a lack of variety. I love this. Table topics, evaluations, feedback, Quizmaster, table topics as a workshop or workshop meetings. Thanks very much, Amber. You know, something to make sure that every meeting just feels a little bit different. We still have structure, we still have protocol, but we have enough variety where it always feels fresh. And I think I've gone through these already, and we have collectively, but these were the major pillars when it comes to a meeting. I'm back to that actually. Great fellowship, variety, having fun, challenging ourselves in a healthy way, and then recognizing as much as possible. These are recurring themes, whether we apply them to a member or within a meeting itself or a set of meetings throughout the program year. Thanks, Lisa. That's great. Weekly themes. That's what I was thinking as well. Oh. Final item on that is, again, when we invest in meetings and we set a great example to have great meetings, we enjoy our meetings more and the club that we are building. I'm going to go through these fairly quickly in the end. This is about finishing strong. There's one thing I really enjoy about Toastmasters. There's a lot, actually, but it's working together towards goals. And that could be as a club, trying to either rebuild or get stronger or be recognized as a distinguished club or a Smedley distinguished club. It's chasing something and chasing it together. And that same thing applies to a district team or anything else. You're working with others, you have clearly defined goals, and you're striving to meet them. And I'd almost say whether you meet them or not, it's not as important as working together and enjoying that journey and growing together, celebrating something at the end. So if I'm thinking about what are 3 things that we can do here in June and set up a great June and July, set a goal personally. Then work to set and reaffirm setting a great example for your fellow members. That solves a lot of problems right there. And then set someone else up for success. When it comes to goals, what could I set as a goal? It could be big or small, depending on what you want to take on. If you're able to on the schedule, and if maybe there's an opening, complete your next speech project. Do what you can to achieve the next level or path completion, just whatever the next milestone is for you, or to set a great example and lead as Toastmaster and have just an amazing meeting covering some of the items that we just covered. Invite a guest. Just invite, whether they show up or not. You know, you've done your job to invite someone else to enjoy and experience the benefits. If you want to go a step further than that, help grow the club by 1 member. If everybody in the club did that, it would make a difference. Connecting with a former or inactive member, maybe inviting them kind of accomplishes a lot in one thing or one action, or offering to mentor a new member. Is there any other goal that you could think about setting just for June? Thank you, Nora. That's great. A table topic session on Facebook. The next item, if I think about what can we do in June, and this is really timeless, but being a great example of a member for others inspires and helps members of all experience levels. When they see somebody investing and doing the right things, it's just easier for them to do the same. And for newer members and guests, again, it has a dramatic impact. Sometimes we don't need to be taught or trained. We just need to see a great example. So you and I, we could be that great example. That's a reminder to me. And how do we do that? Well, what do you think a model member should do? Follow the education programs and projects as best you can. Prepare for speeches as best you can. Give quality evaluations. I'll just say it, as best you can. We're all human. Volunteer for open roles when time allows and when you can do it responsibly. If you can't, if you're already stretched thin, then please don't burn out. Don't stretch yourself too thin. Give somebody else an opportunity. But if you can, it sets a great example. Be the first or be in the line to welcome guests, whether it's in person or virtually. I've said it also, inviting others. Did I miss any other ways to be a great example? Celebrate Founders Night, recognize the club founders. Great. Amber, go ahead.
Once you hand them the role, step back, shut up, let them do it. And correct afterwards.
Yeah, that's a great, thank you very much, Amber. And that's a great reminder for me. Once you've given them a role or you have something, get out of their way. Don't micromanage them or don't let them learn and grow, just like we did. Yeah, thanks very much. I feel like that was a segue as well to how can we set up others for success. And it's really just helping them do the things that we've covered, whether it's their next speech project, stepping into a role, maybe thinking about being an officer for the upcoming year if elections are still to come. And that's fine if they are. But help someone else in June. And then again, we'll see the investment and might continue that in July and beyond. But if we do these little things, I think they pay off. Right now, our club or your club, our clubs might be chasing how can we be at some level in the Distinguished Recognition Program or the DCP, if you will. Everybody doing a small thing, and some of them will pay off, some of them will not. It's just the way it works. It will make a difference in June. This month is not over. We have enough time if we work together as a team with clear goals and we all do something. And maybe that's all it takes is one action, one commitment. If we finish strong through our actions in June, we set up an even stronger July and beyond. We're creating momentum this month and probably going to see some results of that too. But there's a lot of benefits to the things we can do this month. So looking at the time, I want to make sure that I stay within it. Every member matters. The investment that we make to value them, support them, and recognize every member, it matters. The meetings, every one of them, they matter too. And if we strive to make them magical experiences where we connect, we grow, we challenge each other, we recognize each other, and we enjoy it, we don't want to miss it. Well, the payoff is we get an experience week or meeting after meeting that we don't want to miss. And that's a great thing to be a part of. And then finish strong. Do one thing. Set a goal and strive to accomplish it. Striving is enough more often than not. And I've talked about a lot of things, but I'll tell you what, don't forget to celebrate and have fun as well. We don't want to take ourselves so seriously that we squeeze the joy out of what we're doing. It's a great blessing to be able to be in Toastmasters, to help and to work with each other and to grow along the way. So every meeting matters. Every member matters and every meeting matters. And thank you for being here. You absolutely matter. And it's been a pleasure to be here, to exchange ideas with you, and to be a part of the journey. Thanks for being a part of mine. This is my email address. You are welcome to reach out anytime. If there's anything I can do for you, I will do anything I can. So thanks again. Enjoy the journey ahead. Keep going and keep growing. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. And I believe we have a little bit of time for any questions or discussion.
Thank you all for that insightful and inspiring presentation. Members, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your virtual hand and we will recognize you and you can ask your questions.
We have a great audience right here. Any challenges that, might not be me, but I'll do my best, but anything that, whether it's
Arul,
club,
I have a
leadership.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I have a question on behalf of our members. Sometimes what happens is the leaders do everything that whatever is being said, but still the members don't show up or members doesn't get motivated or something, then how do we handle such a situation? And how do we leaders or fellow club members support the club executive committee members?
Okay, I may have missed part of that. So it's, as the leaders, it's a unfortunate thing where it can lead to burnout, but the leaders are doing as much as they possibly can, and they're maybe not seeing others, should we say, get on board, if you will, or follow. They're not seeing the results of their efforts. Yeah, it's something to be mindful of. And I don't know that I have the magic solution, but I would say if I'm leading a club and I'm not necessarily seeing others kind of following along or the effects of what I'm hoping for, I think I would probably have to start asking and talking to the individual members to understand, again, their motivations, their goals, and maybe what isn't working. But I would say what isn't working with a very soft, helpful tone, because you're curious. You want to understand what's going on and what isn't working. And I think that feedback might inform us on what to do next. But yeah, often what you're kind of seeing is probably there's a gap, and we won't figure that out on our own. We have to just kind of talk with others. It's very easy to get frustrated. It's very easy to get burned out. And that's why I say, just if you feel comfortable, just ask and open up some space for a conversation about this. Because if people are showing up to meetings, or if they are, paying dues, then it's clear that they want something and that they're still interested, but their level of engagement may indicate that there's still a gap. Lisa.
I'm sorry, I keep unmuting and I keep being muted. Yeah, so we had a situation with filling roles at a meeting, and as much as my secretary is doing, she's fabulous. It appears that the best way to reach out to our members is through text. It's not by using WhatsApp. It's not by emailing them the agenda with all the open spaces. It's not by sitting back and waiting for them to fill out the FTH. It's by interacting with them directly. And using text and or a phone call has apparently been my secret sauce, because I guess from what I'm hearing, it's not happening often enough. And it works for me. If I send somebody a text saying, we're missing these 3 roles, which one do you want to take? Or we've put you down as general evaluator, please confirm. Then she's not taking on all the roles herself, and she's not sitting there saying, nobody's responding. I keep trying, but nobody's doing anything. And it's not that they're not. They're just waiting to be approached a different way. I rest my mic.
Yeah. You nailed it, Lisa. Thanks. I think you've nailed it right there, and on multiple levels. It's the communication that is a little bit more personal that works. A text message, for example, or phone used to be more common, and it just feels like text has replaced it so much. But if people that are comfortable making phone calls and maybe working with voicemail a little bit, that really shows an effort to reach out to the individual. And it's no surprise that it's getting a better response. I think we would probably all raise our hands and say that we are inundated with emails, and it's very easy for us to ignore emails if they are a personalized email where we feel like, oh, this is very authentic. Like, that may get a little bit more engagement, probably not as much as a text message, but yeah, definitely the group mails that come from the website. It's very efficient, very convenient, but I think it's very easy also to ignore those. So again, yeah, that personal outreach, it makes a difference. Like you said, people are waiting or willing if someone makes a genuine outreach to them. I think you nailed it. Wrong.
That is a
Hello, good
question in
evening.
the chat. Yes, Moidu.
Yeah, my name is Mohidu. Actually, I came late. Sorry for that. And first of all, thank you very much for arranging such a Zoom meeting. Okay. Uh, I'm a new member in Abu Dhabi Professional Toastmasters Club. I attended several meetings, but I found the most difficult session in Toastmasters program is table topic session. So think and speak on your feet. It's not an easy job. So uh, can you tell us any solution how to improve in speaking skills in table topic? Prepared
Yeah.
speech we can prepare in advance. Any other session is easy. We can prepare in advance, like evaluation, no problem. Prepared speeches, humorous speeches. But table topic, a spontaneous speech is very difficult.
Yeah.
How can we improve? Could you please?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for joining, and we all wish you the best in your journey ahead. I mean, this is awesome that you joined. And you're right, table topics is can be challenging and it can be difficult. And the unscientific way that I have that worked for me was I just keep doing them. Sometimes I have a tough time with table topics, probably even still today for some questions. But definitely when I first got started, I mean, everything felt challenging. No question was easy, but it took maybe 6, 12. I mean, I don't know. It took a while for me, but then I noticed I was getting better. And I mean, the system works where if you continually try and you continually do your best, the noises in our head, the anxiety goes down. We can think more clearly. We respond more confidently. Sometimes we feel confident and sometimes we just look confident, but it definitely works. So, I mean, the best advice I can give you, and I welcome other advice from the others, is just keep just keep doing it. Don't lose your patience. Just keep doing it, and you'll notice it sooner than later. Like it's gonna turn. Ron.
Well, there
Thank
is
you.
one
Thank you
question
very
in the
much.
chat.
Thank you. Thank you.
One question in the chat. What is the one thing that keeps you attending meetings? From Rama.
Yeah. The one thing, it's the one thing, and it's the best part of Toastmasters. It's the people. I mean, we can say it's the table topics or this or that. No, it's the people. And to me, it's the social connection that really matters to me, that keeps me, feeling good. So it could be a bad day or it could be a bad week or whatever, or I work from home. And so being around others, whether it's online or in person, it does make a big difference. And I think that I could not I could not overstate how important the people in Toastmasters are and how great they are. So yeah, why do I want to go to a meeting? Because it's the people. Whether I know them or not, it's fun. And yeah, the skills come along for the ride and the growth and development's there, but just being around good people.
One more question, Harold. That is, most of the things that you shared may be applicable to the community clubs, but in coming to a corporate clubs, at times due to some situations, the corporate club says it's time to close down the Toastmasters clubs. It may be many reasons, or sometimes the even if you pitch in something, how do we narrow the bridge between Toastmasters and the Toastmasters corporate clubs?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot when it comes to that. So at a high
Because
level, it's in, it's ensuring that the Toastmasters Club is providing value to the members of the organization and its people. And if we're providing the value, meaning that they feel like this is helpful for them to advance in their careers at the organization or just professionally, and the organization says and feels that the Toastmasters Club is providing a lot of value in terms of preparing and developing people, then we have a good win. It's when those things don't happen or that's not clear that they're happening. I think we run into a lot of problems there where we start to see that as an hour that maybe doesn't yield a return on the investment of that hour or that time. I mean, it might be fun, it might be a break, but it isn't advancing us and it isn't advancing that company. That's kind of the big win or the big alignment that has to happen for the individuals, the professionals, and also the company as well. There might be more though that you're asking that I didn't cover. What is there? Is there something I may have missed though, Ron?
Maybe this not maybe a regular situations, but due to the geopolitical situations in our districts, some of the
Yeah.
corporate clubs are taking a step back, fine, because of maybe they are seen more on other priorities, number one. Number two, and what has happened in major part of the clubs in our districts, mainly corporate or even some of the community clubs where we have multinationalities here. So people are traveling back and all those things. So at that times, we pushing the leaders much, or how do we motivate those leaders in achieving those goals?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it certainly is complicated right now. I mean, there's no denying that. What comes to mind is it kind of goes back to a high level of seeing the difference that we make and ensuring that whether it's an individual or an individual member that says, despite everything that's going on in the world and my world, I get value from the club that I participate in, that it fits a need. And then it might be many times social, of just feeling connected. We had clubs in Ukraine when Russia invaded. They were meeting consistently in bomb shelters. And why? Because they felt connected, right? That's a tough example, I mean, I admit, but it's also, reality. So it's people seeing that despite everything, that there's still value in this. And it might not be skill development at that point, it might be social. When we look at tensions across the world or across the region, it's trying to again kind of look beyond that and say there's still value and that we don't necessarily associate, we are careful about how we associate, people and say we're still members that share values and similar goals. And if we don't, that is a problem. There's no question about that. Then that's hard to reconcile. Um, there was one other item of, I also have to just caution this is to say, when life gets difficult, you've got to do what is good for you as well. And I won't try to deny that if life is super complicated and very tough, and you feel that for your own health you have to take a step back, then I mean, who am I to say that's not the right thing to do for you or for someone in this example is, we want you to do what's best for you.
Thank you, Rolf. Any other questions? I don't see anything in the chat or anybody raising their hands. Thank you all for that insightful and inspiring presentation and your message today that every member matters and every meeting matters. It challenged us to think beyond agendas, roles, and meeting logistics. It reminds us that every interaction matters. A warm welcome or a word of encouragement or simply taking the time to listen to our members makes a big difference. One of the key takeaways that I would take from this session is club excellence is not created by a very few leaders, but it's created by every member who contributes to this environment. So I urge all the members who are present here and those who are watching this video that I encourage each of us to reflect on one simple question: what can I do at my very next meeting to make one member feel more valued? If each of us takes those small steps, we strengthen our clubs and we create an environment that keeps people coming back year after year. Harold, thank you for sharing your experience, your leadership journey, and the practical ideas that we can implement or immediately apply in our clubs. We are grateful for your dedication to Toastmasters and for investing your time with District 105. As a token of small appreciation, please accept our small e-certificate on behalf of District 105 family and District 105 members. Thank you all for spending your time with us today.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, dear members. At this time, I also truly appreciate, recognize the presence of our district director, distinguished Toastmaster Cyprian Muscat, our curricular director, distinguished Toastmaster Suryakant Kirloskar, fellow area directors, division directors, and leaders from around the world. Thank you for joining in today's workshop. We have another interesting workshop on this Saturday, which starts at 7:30 p.m. Oman time with a theme called as 7 Leaders, 1 Club, 1 Vision. See you all. Thank you and have a wonderful evening or good night from whichever part of the world that you're joining. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
DTM Ram, group photo.
Yes, can we have a group photo, please?